Chase Elliott is not happy with how the first 4 races of the 2025 NASCAR season have gone for him. He started strong, but things took a turn for the worse at Phoenix, leaving him frustrated. Now, as he looks ahead, he knows his team has work to do. Elliott came into the season with high hopes. He started with the Busch Light Clash, which wasn't a points race, but it still gave him a chance to test his car. He felt good about it. The same top drivers from last season were competitive again, and Elliott believed he was in the mix. That gave him confidence heading into the regular season. The Daytona 500 was next, and Elliott's car was fast. He stayed up front, showing he could compete for the win. While he didn't take the checkered flag, he left feeling positive. The speed was there, and that's always a good sign. Then came Atlanta. Once again, he had a car capable of running with the best. Elliott knows how important it is to be fast at tracks like Atlanta, where the draft plays a big role. He felt like his team was clicking. They were giving him what he needed to be competitive, and the results showed it.
Who's going to lift first going into turn number 1? Bubba said, I will. Let's see, as the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix gets the green flag.
Whoa! At the Circuit of the Americas, the first road course of the season, Elliott's strong start continued. He has always been one of the best road course racers in NASCAR, and this time was no different. He had a car that could fight for the win, and he left Texas feeling like his team was in a good place. Then came Phoenix, and that's where everything fell apart. Elliott's car was nowhere near where it needed to be. He struggled from the start, and no adjustments seemed to help. Phoenix is a crucial track on the NASCAR schedule because it's where the championship races take place in November. If a team struggles there early in the year, it's a bad sign for later. Elliott knew this, and that made the disappointment even worse.
And then, obviously we were terrible last week, so that was disappointing, especially with how important Phoenix is, on the calendar. We just had much higher expectations and hopes, as a team going in there. So we know we have a lot of work to do when we get back.
By the end of the race, he was frustrated. He knew his team had put in a lot of effort, but something just wasn't working. After 3 strong races, finishing so poorly at Phoenix was tough to accept. It showed that his team still has weaknesses to fix. There was also a big controversy started after Catherine Legg made her NASCAR Cup Series debut at Phoenix Raceway. Legg is an experienced racer, having competed in the Indianapolis 500, Formula E, and IMSA road racing. But her stock car experience was limited to 4 Xfinity starts and 1 ARCA start. This became a problem when she spun twice during the race, leading to a crash with Daniel Suarez. Suarez did not blame Legg personally, but he was frustrated with NASCAR for approving her to race at such a high level without enough experience. He explained that he was running at 100 miles an hour when he hit her whilst trying to slow down. He made it clear that NASCAR's approval process needed to change. His opinion was not just his own. Many top drivers, including Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, and Kyle Larson, have also voiced concerns. Chase Elliott also made a strong statement in an interview with NASCAR and Fox. He said that the Cup Series is supposed to be the top level of NASCAR and that every driver should be fully prepared before competing. He reminded everyone that he and other drivers had to prove themselves in ARCA races before moving up to trucks or Xfinity. His message was clear: NASCAR needs to be more strict about who gets approved to race. Kyle Busch, who has won 62 Cup Series races, has been questioning NASCAR's approval process for years. He believes that decision makers in suits and ties should not be the only ones making these calls. He said that people who have actually raced should have a say in deciding who gets approved. Busch also pointed out that NASCAR's process for approving drivers is much less structured compared to other major racing series. Denny Hamlin compared NASCAR's approval system to IndyCar. He explained that IndyCar has a proper testing process, while NASCAR does not. In IndyCar, new drivers have to go through a structured program and prove they're ready before they can race. In contrast, NASCAR allows drivers to enter races with very little preparation. Joey Logano gave another example. He pointed out that Kyle Larson, a NASCAR champion, is currently preparing for the Indianapolis 500. Larson has had to go through a long approval process and will get plenty of practice before the actual race. But in NASCAR, new drivers sometimes get just 20 minutes of practice before being thrown into the competition. Daniel Suarez, who worked his way up through NASCAR's lower series, took this issue personally. He respected Leg's efforts but believed that she was put in a difficult position by NASCAR. He said that no matter how skilled a driver is, it is unfair to throw them into one of the toughest racing series in the world without enough preparation. Suarez also made an interesting comparison. He said that even though he is one of the best stock car drivers, he would not expect to race in Formula 1 or Formula 2 because he's not qualified. Formula 1 has a strict super license system that requires drivers to earn points in lower series before they can compete at the top level. NASCAR, however, does not have a similar system, and that is why so many top drivers are frustrated. This is not the first time NASCAR has faced criticism over its approval process. Earlier this season, four-time Indianapolis 500 Helio Castroneves struggled in his Daytona 500 debut. Despite getting simulator time in a test session, he failed to qualify on speed and finished 39th after an early crash. If not for the controversial open provisional rule, he would not have been able to race at all. Jimmy Johnson and Martin Truex Jr., both experienced NASCAR drivers, were confused about how the approval process worked in that case. The inconsistencies in how drivers are approved have led many to question NASCAR's decision-making. Some drivers have successfully moved from other racing series to NASCAR, but they usually take time to adjust. Juan Pablo Montoya, for example, who won races in both Formula 1 and NASCAR, but he first ran 7 Xfinity races before making his Cup debut. Danica Patrick spent 2 seasons in the Xfinity Series, competing in 61 races, before moving up to the Cup full-time. This gradual transition helped them get used to stock car racing. Even Kyle Larson, who is known for his versatility, took time to build his NASCAR career before becoming a champion. Most successful drivers follow this path, which is why recent approval of drivers with little stock car experience has caused concern. One possible solution is to create a structured approval system similar to IndyCar or Formula 1. NASCAR could require drivers to compete a certain number of races in lower series before being allowed to compete in the Cup Series. They could also implement a testing process where new drivers must prove their skills before getting approved. Another option is to involve experienced drivers in the decision-making process. As Kyle Busch suggested, people who have raced at the top level should have a say in who gets approved. This could help ensure that only qualified drivers make it to the Cup Series. NASCAR officials have not yet responded to these concerns, but the pressure is building. When multiple champions like Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Joe Logano, and Kyle Larson all speak out, it is clear that something needs to change. If NASCAR does not address this issue, it could lead to more problems in the future. More inexperienced drivers could be approved, leading to more crashes and complaints from veteran drivers. The credibility of the Cup Series could also be affected if people feel that drivers are being allowed in without proving themselves. At the same time, NASCAR also wants to attract new talent to the sport. They do not want to make it too difficult for drivers from other racing backgrounds to enter. The challenge is finding the right balance between giving opportunities to new drivers and maintaining high standards. Some fans believe that the current system is fine as it is. They argue that mistakes happen in racing and that experienced drivers also make errors. So, it's about making sure he has the right setup every week. If he and his team can do that, they'll be in a good position when it really matters. But for now, he's not happy with how things have gone, and he's determined to turn it around. So what are your thoughts on this? Comment them down right now, and while you're down there, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more future updates.